What is going on in Florida? Florida's Desantis moves to allow citizens to shoot looters, rioters targeting businesses. Okay. Stand your ground, I get. And I don't completely disagree. Actually, I probably lean more towards agreeing, and I'll tell you why. You don't know if someone's prepared to use lethal force against you, but if they're breaking the law and entering your property, you need to protect yourself. I think it's really weird we have these states where they're like, you have a duty to retreat from your own home, and they exist. Isn't that nuts? Like, where am I supposed to go? I'm in my house. Somebody broke in. I got to defend myself. Well, you have a duty to retreat to the middle of the woods or the middle of the street. What are you going to do? Same applies for businesses. If I'm in my business and someone's breaking in, like, where am I supposed to go? If you were in someone else's property, I could understand, go to your property. But anyway, I wonder if this has something to do with upcoming results of an election in Florida, where there may be riots. Perhaps not. Let's read the story. They say, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has drafted anti-mob legislation that would expand the state's Stand Your Ground law, a move that some worry would allow armed citizens to shoot and potentially kill anyone they suspect of looting. DeSantis' new legislation comes in response to months of protesting that frequently lead to rioting this summer in Florida and across the U.S. following the death of George Floyd. The legislation is an attempt to prevent violent and disorderly assemblies by permitting violence against anyone involved in the interruption or impairment of a business reportedly described in the draft as being a burglary within 500 feet of a violent or disorderly assembly, according to reporting by the Miami Herald Tuesday. I guess that means if y'all are walking down the street and you see someone looting a store, you can go, pop. That's crazy. It allows for vigilantes to justify their actions. A former Miami-Dade County prosecutor, Denise Georges, who has worked with the Stand Your Ground cases, told the Miami publication. It also allows for death to be the punishment for a property crime, and that is cruel and unusual punishment. We cannot live in a lawless society where taking a life is done so casually and recklessly. It's an interesting way to phrase it, but I don't agree that it's cruel and unusual, excessive. I oppose it for sure. Well, let me clarify. If somebody is running away with a TV, don't let them take the TV. But if someone is breaking into your property or threatening your life in some way, that I understand. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe I don't agree with the full premise of what this is. You shouldn't loot. You shouldn't riot. But what do we do to stop the looting and the rioting? And maybe that's the real goal here. But I don't like the idea that you could be like, well, I was allowed to do it because he was stealing a small piece of, some kind of, some item or such. People shouldn't die for this stuff, man. They say the draft legislation also includes measures that would make protesting which disrupts the public by blocking traffic a third-degree felony. The law would also reportedly grant immunity to drivers who unintentionally kill or injure protesters who are blocking traffic. Additionally, the law would allow the state to withhold funds from local governments that cut police budgets. DeSantis, an ardent supporter of President Trump, who won in Florida by just over 3 points, reportedly submitted copies of the legislation to the state's Senate Committee on Criminal Justice and the House Judiciary Committee, according to emails obtained by the Miami Herald. It's clear that the Trump beauty pageant is still going on with governors and senators who all want to be the next Trump, Miami Beach Mayor Dan Gelber told the publication. And the governor is very clearly a very good contestant. Gelber, a former federal prosecutor, was also a critic of the Stand Your Ground law when it first passed in 2005. DeSantis could not be immediately reached by Fox News for comment. Well, I tell you what, I don't like it when people die. I don't like it when people get hurt, and I wish it didn't have to happen. But I don't know what to tell you if someone's attacking you and you stand your ground. If someone breaks into your house and you're trying to defend yourself, you stand your ground. What do? Back in the day, people used to die all the time. Isn't that weird? Like, seriously, people would just be dead and you'd probably never hear from them again. I remember I was at Glenn Beck's studio and he had this newspaper on the wall, really old newspapers from the 1800s. And I was reading one where it was like a guy was standing outside a bar. A dude ran out, put a gun to his chest and pulled the trigger and ran off. It's like, that's crazy. Why did that happen? But people would just die. Like, dude took a blast in the heart. I don't know if this is the right move. Shooting looters, targeting businesses. There's got to be some restraint, but the challenge is, I guess, there's no easy middle ground. You want to stop looters and rioters. You don't want them to die. I don't know what the answer is. If you constrain people and say they have no recourse, then the looters and rioters are emboldened. Maybe the goal with this is to say, if you loot, you will die, and then maybe people won't. I don't know. I wouldn't call it cruel and unusual, but I know that I don't want to kill anybody. If I saw someone like running out of my house with a TV, and I got criticized by conservatives for saying this, I'm not going to shoot the guy. That's ridiculous. I lost my TV. That's messed up. This dude, what's he doing? But I've had people tell me like, nope. There was like a saying or something. Look, I don't know exactly why he's bringing this about now. There's been similar conversations about laws in Florida that would do something similar. Like if you're pulling up your car and there's a protest around you, you can run them over if they're blocking traffic. This is something different. This makes it illegal and maybe excessive. I don't know, though, man. The challenge is always a balance between freedom and security. And what this law says is that you can defend yourself and others, which is kind of not necessarily a security thing. It's not telling the government they have more power to stop people. It's telling the individuals they do. I don't know, though. I don't like the idea of shooting people who are stealing stuff. You know what I mean? Within reason, of course. Like if you were stealing someone's like insulin, I guess, like they could die. You know what I mean? But check this out. I wonder if this is why this is coming about. John Voight says fighting Biden lie. Biden won is, quote, greatest fight since the Civil War. He said it. Now you got me saying it. Now they're going to get mad at me saying Tim's talking about Civil War again. No, but it happens. They're talking about it. Is there a real concern that we're going to see widespread rioting and looting? Perhaps. I just covered in my previous segment. 3 Supreme Court justices helped George W. Bush win his case in 2000, and now they're on the Supreme Court. Not that I think Chief Justice Roberts has any loyalty to the Republican Party or Donald Trump, but Amy Coney Barrett and Brett Kavanaugh, they're there, and they were also on the court. So I wonder if we are being lined up for some kind of Trump electoral victory, which results in mass widespread chaos. Maybe the case. And I don't think we should want that, but it doesn't matter. The lines are drawn. There's nothing you can say or do. If this happens, it happens, and people are going to go nuts. And it's going to get scary. It will. I don't know if it'll be violence or the greatest fight since the Civil War, but some people certainly think so. John Voight thinks it's so. They say, actor John Voight released a video Tuesday attacking the results of the presidential election and Joe Biden, saying the U.S. is now entering the greatest fight since the Civil War. I wonder what fight that would be called. I don't know, the Boogaloo or something. The Academy Award winner and longtime Trump supporter took to Twitter to condemn what he alleged was a rigged White House race, calling the aftermath a battle of righteousness versus Satan. In the almost 2-minute video posted with the caption, "We all know the truth," Voight said he's disgusted with the lie that Biden is president-elect and claimed there will be a price to pay for those who are trying to deceive the American public. We must fight this corruption that has taken over and fight for the good that seems lost. Let us give our trust to God and fight now for Trump's victory, because we all know that this ballot count is corruption like they are. So let us not back down. Let us fight this fight as if it is our last fight on earth. President Trump has refused to concede this, we know. Voight has referred to Trump as one of our nation's greatest presidents. Trump previously awarded Voight the National Medal of Arts for his contribution to American culture. Civil War. I don't know if there's going to be a civil war. Maybe we're already in it. Trump is certainly challenging our institutional norms. Usually, when the media says someone won, the other person just concedes like Hillary Clinton did. This time around, Trump saying, no, that's not how it works. It goes to certification, the Electoral College. Of course, Joe Biden is adamant that he won as well, and I don't know what's going to happen. Perhaps we will see the results in favor of Trump. They say Trump wants to overturn the results, but the results aren't in. Nothing's certified yet. Maybe by tomorrow or the next day, we might start to get some real results. But Trump is saying by next week, we'll see it. I think the left's hubris is blinding them the same as it did in 2016. And while I certainly think it's a long shot for Trump, I'll tell you this. It's certainly possible. But let me just say, for now, if it really does come to blows, as it were, to conflict, the scariest thing to me is the left. I mean, they're talking about truth and reconciliation commissions. They're talking about people being put under, held to having tribunals for people and stuff like this. They are making a really good case for people to say, please, Trump, win this, because we don't want them to have their tribunals or gulags. Not that they've literally called for gulags, but they're saying tribunals, truth and reconciliation. Nah, y'all have crossed the line on this one. And now I'm sure lots of people are probably hoping Donald Trump does win by any means necessary. It's worrisome to me. I want our institutions to be upheld. But the problem is there's no fence. There's no middle ground. Either you think Joe Biden won and Trump is cheating, or you think Trump won and Joe Biden is cheating. If you side with Joe Biden, the right's going to say you're supporting a cheater. If you side with Donald Trump, the left is going to say you're supporting a cheater. So what do? There is no leave me alone in this case, because everyone's going to blame, I'll put it this way. I truly believe if something happened where the right took over, most people would be absolutely fine. If the left took over, they're going to put people, they're going to have tribunals for people. That's why this is also scary. I stand on the side of liberty and freedom. And if there's a legal victory and the Supreme Court rules, that's the law of the land. We are not a democracy. If the left claims otherwise, it's because they're desperate for power. So we'll see how that plays out. Stick around. I got one more segment coming up in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.